with this, let us get started. So as Puneet and Shrutika has introduced, this session is about information architecture and is particularly focused on one principle of it, which is principle of front doors. So agenda of this session is we will go through the introduction of the information architecture and its 8 principles. We will know what is principle of front door and how it is applicable to us, and we will also learn how to know the front doors of our website. So information architecture. Basically, information architecture, as many of us might be aware of, is focused on making information findable and understandable. It is the organizing, searching, and navigation of the information should be in a manner to help people complete tasks, find what they are looking for, and understand what they have found. So it is not just finding information, but also understanding what they have found. It is organizing, structuring, and labeling content in such a way that people can easily navigate through the information, they can interpret it easily, and can make sense of it. Information architecture is making things make sense. So basically, in easy words, we can say it is combination of 3 things: users, what they are looking for; content, what information we are providing to them; and context, how will they interact with this content. So it is basically a combination of users, content, and context. It focuses on all the 3 pillars of it: users, that help them find the information very easily and smoothly; content, once we provide them the content should be easily understandable. They should be able to navigate through the content very easily, find it properly with proper labels and taggings and all. And context, once they find the information, they should be able to interpret it easily, understand it in an effective way. Information architecture is connects people to the content they are looking for. In easy terms, we can say it is classification and hierarchy of information. It is labels and tagging, navigation and wayfinding, and searching. Focuses on all these things. So now, who is in charge of information architecture? It is not for the content writers only or technical writers only. UX designers are also in charge of it. Content strategists, technical writers, product managers, whoever is responsible for managing information, or whoever handles the information, is in charge of information architecture. The 8 principles of information architecture. As I said earlier, information architecture is based on 8 major principles. First principle is principle of object, which says content should be treated as a living, breathing thing. It has life cycles, behaviors, and attributes. For example, each content is treated as an object. For example, if we talk about an image would be treated as an individual object. What should be shown in the image, what should be its label, or should be the caption for the image. While we talk about a page or a paragraph, then paragraph is treated as a single object, like how we write the paragraph, what should be the what can be the life cycle, when it needs to be updated, when something needs to be added or removed to that paragraph. So what would be the behavior of that content. So each page is considered as an object in information architecture. The second principle is principle of choices, which says less is more. When it comes to giving choices to the users, information architecture says less is more. Keeping the number of choices to a minimum is good, because giving too many options to the user might make him confusing. For example, if he is if he wants to find a particular art, find a particular article, then if there are multiple ways of it, then he might be confused how to find this. I mean, whether this is the right way, whether that is the right way. So keeping the choices list is suggested in it. The next is principle of disclosure. Principle of disclosure says show a preview of information that will help users understand what kind of information is hidden if they want to dig deeper. That means it focuses not all the content to be shown on upfront. If user want to see information, give them a preview. If they want to know more about it, they will dig deeper. If they are okay with the information, then fine. Because putting all the information upfront again might make the user confused. The next is principle of exemplars. It says show examples of content when describing the content of the categories. So as we like when giving articles or when talking about a topic, particular topic, then if we can give examples, it would help users understand in a better way. Then the next is the principle of front doors, which says assume that at least 50% of the users will use a different entry point than the home page. That means not necessary that all the users that come to your website comes through its home page. There might be other points, other entry points also. And obviously we will discuss this point in detail in our next slides. Next is the principle of multiple classifications, which offers users several different classification schemes to browse the site's contents. This is for browsing the site content. That when user wants to browse through or navigate through the content, provide him multiple choices, multiple classifications so that he can find the information easily. The next is principle of focused navigation, which says keep navigation simple and never mix different things. Because the whole purpose of the information architecture is to make information findable, easily findable. As easy as you can find the information, it's great. The next is the principle of growth, which focus on assume that the content on the website will grow. Make sure the website is scalable. For example, if we add an article today, after 6 months or 1 year down the line, that article might require changes. It might require addition of content. It might require some updation of content or anything. So we need to assume that the content might change. The website will grow. The pages might be more as per the time. We need to make this in mind while designing the website. So these were the 8 principles of information architecture. Now coming to the principle of front doors. So what is principle of front doors? We have covered it. Anyone would like to remind it here? Hello.
Hi, Sunita. This is Lakshmi.
Hi, Lakshmi.
Yeah, by principle of front doors, you were talking about how what are the different ways user could enter the website, right? Not from the homepage alone. There could be entry pointers from a particular application or from some other home web page or any other way he could check the website.
Right, right. Thank you, Lakshmi. I was just checking that not all are sleeping. Just kidding. Okay, okay. Great. So yes, as you said, assume that at least half of the website's visitor will come through some pages other than the home page. Most of the traffic in larger sites come through a side door, not the home page. The direct links are the power of search. So like mostly we assume that our home page should be designed in such a way that all the visitors will come to the home page, then they will navigate through the different sections or categories they are looking for, and then this home page will help them find what they are looking for. But that's not necessary. Whenever we search something on Google, whenever we type for an image, we find yes that the image is there, but then we might like to know that what else is there with the image. Then we click on the image, and then it leads to a particular web page, and then we go to that particular web page. Then obviously we are going through the Google or search links we are going through on that particular page. We are not going through the homepage of that site, and this happens in many cases. At least we can say 50%. In 50% cases, the visitors comes through a web page other than the homepage. So the focus of this principle is not only the homepage should be focused and designed properly, but also the other pages, other front doors of our website should be designed in such a way that if a user lands on that page, he should find that information relevant and helpful. And also this help page that the user is landing on should give him way to the other related pages also. For example, let's say if I'm looking for a recipe, then I'll search for something, and that would land me to a page of a particular website. Then I might be eager to know, oh yes, this recipe is nice, let's see what else are there, what else recipes are there. So that particular page that I'm landing on should be capable enough of landing me to, of navigating me to the different pages that include other recipes also. So, what this implementation of principle of front doors? So, the principle of front doors says the web page that we are landing on should be designed in such a way that it tells people where they are in context of the entire website. Okay, so let me take an example here. For example, if I am searching for business rule, it's just a word. Okay, then it is taking me to, let's keep it in Kanban. Now I was searching for this information, business rule in Swift Kanban, and I found this page. Okay, so now when I'm landing to this page, I should know where I am in context of this website. What are the other help pages? What are the other pages of this site that can be helpful to me? So whenever I come to this page, I should see, okay, I am in this category, home, then automation, and then working with business rule. Then also this page should provide me a way to navigate to other pages. So if I find this, okay, I'm here in automation, there are other categories also, so I might be eager to know, okay, what's there in the boards category, in the cards category, or the upper menus should be helpful. Okay, videos are also there, updates are also there. So these should provide me an option to do more once I land on this page. The second point of principle of front door says your home page should not be the whole website. Like I said, our home page should be designed. Okay, sorry. Yeah. As I said, homepage shouldn't be the whole website. Our homepage should be designed in such a manner that whenever a user comes to it, he finds what the website is all about, what homepage might provide him. But it's not necessarily to be loaded with all the information that a website is aiming to provide. It might give categories, then the under those categories the articles can be given. If a user is interested, he will dig deep, he will click that particular category, he will click the articles under it, then he might be looking for images or videos, then he will look for that particular image or what he is looking for. So the information should be put in a structured way and not to be loaded all along. So now the next question is, okay, we talk about the front doors of our websites. They should be in such a way that whenever a user come to a website, he should find it helpful. But how do we know that which are the front doors of our website, and how do we know which front doors are mostly visited by our website users? So here are some tools that can help us find the front doors of our website. To be honest, we have used Google Analytics in our organization, and we have found it really helpful. It really works, and it helped us find the front doors of our documentation site, and then we improved it accordingly. So Google Analytics. Well, Google Analytics is a web analytics service that provides statistics and basic analytical tools for search engine optimization and marketing purposes. The service is part of Google Marketing Platform, and obviously it's available for free to anyone with a Google account, which mostly all of us have. So now the question comes is how to use Google Analytics. Anyone of us available here is familiar with Google Analytics or have used it earlier? Hello. I hope I'm audible again.
Yes,
Yes,
Sunita, you're
Anita, you're okay.
audible, but would appreciate if you could explain this in detail.
Okay, okay, sure, sure.
Yeah.
So, see, Google Analytics, as I said, is very easily available, and anyone with a Google account can use it. We use it on almost daily basis just to see how many visitors are visiting our website, which pages are getting most views, and which are fluctuating, and all the information we can see. All you need is your Gmail ID. Once you have your Gmail ID, you can log in with Google Analytics, and then go to the settings here in admin settings, and set your website here, and then view the settings here. And once you provide your website, you are all ready to you are all set to see the information here, which we are going to see now. So in behavior, we'll navigate to site content, and then we'll go to all pages. So once I come to the all pages, it shows me the analytics of all the pages of my website. Right now we have set Digite Inc., which is our organizational website. So it shows the number of page views we are getting, unique page views, average page on time, entrance time, bounce rate, almost all the information it shows us. That is enough for us to know which are the front doors of our websites. So right now this is information about the entire website. If I'll talk about a particular knowledge base, then I can just provide the classification here and answer. So this is right now I have given the URL of our knowledge base side of one of our product, which is Swift Kanban. So now it is showing me 10 pages which are having this many views. Like right now it is having 92 views, 39 views, 28 views, 20 views. So looking at this view, I can see which help pages or which articles are getting more view, which are getting less view. This is already in sorting order, so I can see which page is getting most views. So if you see here, this is my home page, knowledge base in Swift Kanban. It gets 80.18.07 percentage, but rest of the pages, this alone is getting 7.66 percentage, this alone is getting 5.50 percentage. So we can see not the home page alone is the page that my visitors are landing on. They are coming on this page also, this page also. So these all pages are equally important. So we need to make sure that these all pages are designed or put in a way that users find the information helpful and also can navigate to the other sections from these pages also. Any question here? Anyone would like to ask any doubt or any query before we go ahead?
I
Okay.
think we can proceed further, Vanita.
Right, right, right.
I have a small question, kind of. You can call
Yes,
it a question. So
yes, yes.
when you say multiple pages, all those pages are important, right? Point agreed.
Right.
How do we ensure that the whatever page the user is searching, because wherever you are providing the link,
Mm-hmm.
user, if you are providing it right into your application, then also it will be your home page probably, unless it's context sensitive. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you ensure that user gets what they want once they come to your website? Probably first they come to our home page, right? And
Right, right,
there they can search. So to make the search, so probably what you are showing may depend a bit on search also.
right. Obviously.
So yeah, how
So,
do
see, one answer to your question is, Puneet, that the bounce rate that we see here. See, when we talk about the bounce rate of a page should be as maximum as possible. Sorry, as less as possible. So, if users come to a particular page and if he finds it if he finds it helpful, then he would stay there for a couple of seconds and maybe a minute or two. Obviously, if he is finding it helpful, he will go through the content at least 3 4 lines. He will read some part of it or see the image or video that he has come for that on this page. So if he is finding it helpful, he will spend some time on it. So you can see here average time on that pages, you can see the seconds, minute, whatever it is. See, if I'm see here the user is spending 2 minutes and 15 seconds, so obviously he is doing something. He's reading something, he is navigating up and down, something he is doing if he is on that particular page for 2 minutes and 15 page. The other thing is bounce rate. Bounce rate is, I would say, जितना कम bounce rate होगा पेज का उतना अच्छा होगा, because if bounce rate is less, that he is not quickly navigating to the other page, he is staying on that page. So again, you can check the average time on that particular page and you can check the bounce rate. So these two things we can take as the calculative measure to know whether the user is finding those pages helpful.
okay, yeah,
This is one way.
right. That helps. Thanks,
Yeah.
Sunita.
Thank you.
Um, Sunita, I have a question.
Yes,
Now,
please.
in this table that you showed, I be able to tell who the user was? Like for example, me being a technical writer, I would be probably visiting the page myself to make some edits to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have stayed, since I'm doing some edits or working on it, I would have stayed for more than, say, 10 minutes. And
Mm.
so if I would I be able to segregate the users? I mean, how do I know if it is not me who has visited the page and it is some particular user or the customer who has really gone into the page? Because my organization, the support, I'm trying to work on a support website.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way the users can come to our website is through the application, through our application. So
Okay.
the application has a link to the support center, and they come through that. So I know that all our users definitely have to come only through the application. So
Okay.
now, how do I
Mm.
know if it is not me who's coming into the web page and it's definitely some kind of a user?
Good question. May I know your name, please?
I'm Lakshmi.
Oh, Lakshmi, good question, Lakshmi.
Okay.
But see, knowing exactly who is the user is difficult as per my understanding. But yes, we can know the location. See, if we go
Okay.
above on the page, we can see the location. So right now, this is for the summarized data. But for a particular page, also we can know the location, like 30% is public from you, like for example, if this particular page is getting 28 views, so we can know like 20% is from US or 30% is from UK and rest are from India. But knowing the exact user is I don't think is possible.
Okay. Okay.
So
So there is
Lakshmi,
no way. Yeah.
yeah, this is Shubhajit here. So basically, this is all averaging out. Okay. So if there are one or two people are using it, it will not show that much. But when you have a certain number of people who are using it, then it will average out. So what you are looking at is an average one, and then try to figure it out
Right,
why the bounce rate is.
Okay. Okay.
right.
You also have to make sure that your website is crawlable. It is indexed by Google. It will not come into the Google Analytics part. So
Oh,
if
okay.
your help is integrated with a product which is not crawlable by Google, then it will not come
Hmm.
into the Google Analytics. For that, you can use another tool called Mixpanel, which will provide you user-wise behavior. Just for your
Oh,
information,
okay.
Ayan.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
that
right.
would be good. Mixed panel, is it?
Yeah, it's called
Yes, yes.
Mixpanel. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So once we know that sorry, yeah, we were here, right? So once we know that what are the front doors, the 10 front doors, for example, in our organization, we consider 10 front doors, but yeah, you can consider 15 also, 5 also. It's up to you, how many you want to take for improvement. So once you know that what are the front doors of your website, then the action that you can perform is you first is that you know the 10 or 15 or whatever count you want to consider that are having most of the traffic in last 6 months, for example, last 3 months, for a year. It's up to you how much time then you take. So the count of pages for a particular time, and then see which pages are getting most page views. Once you know the page view, you can see whether these pages are self-explanatory enough to help your users. If they are helpful to your users, user can navigate through the other sections, can find the information easily, find the information quickly and easily. Second, if not, then you need to improve the quality and content on the page. Maybe you can add images, diagrams, or whatever content that you are dealing in. So, other some visual graphics to your content, so that it becomes a bit more interesting. And then you can obviously improve the navigation, screenshots, gifs, videos, whatever you want to add, so that user find those help pages helpful. Okay, with this, we come to the end of our session. And here again, I would like to ask if you have any questions or any doubt.
Sunita, in the chat box, we don't have questions other than the ones that I posted. So if uh, others don't have
Okay,
any questions, I'll just go ahead and ask them here.
sure, we can do that.
Uh, so this was very enlightening that someone implementing Google Analytics to for your content pages, and then based on your findings, working on your content to make it more user friendly and make it more accessible to users. So what prompted you to look into information architecture, especially this principle, the principle of front doors?
Yeah, so actually we were also like we have this habit in our team that we always try to learn something new. So we were just looking ki what else we can learn from, and that help us in our day-to-day job also, and that's a learning for us also. So then I was reading about the information architecture, and then attended one or two sessions. But then I realized that I was not able to understand this particular principle. So I read more about it, and then I realized, oh yes, it can be really helpful. And then I did kind of a study of this, and then we implemented this in our website, and we realized that, oh, which help pages are getting most views in for our particular product. Then we added other required information to those pages, and then make sure that the navigation is very easy and user is able to find the information. So it resolved many queries to the users also, because once they
Mm-hmm.
do not get anything, then they put a query that I am not able to find this, and how can I read this. So like doing such kind of exercise will not only enlighten us with the knowledge, they help our customers also, and the number of queries is also reduced.
Right.
So this is what we have implemented in our team for our products actually.
Right. That's great. Any change that is fueled by learning, it definitely goes a long way. And that's what we can see from your example. So just one more follow-up question, Sunita, from me. So based
Mhm.
on your findings in using GA, so can you show us or give us any examples of what kind of changes did you make to these front doors to make them compliant with the principle of front doors and to make them more helpful to your users?
Yes, yes, yes. So, like as I said, our help pages like mostly include about the information. Like for example, if there is a topic called integration with Microsoft Teams, so so yeah. So for example, if there is a help is about integration with Microsoft Teams, so we used to write only about the information, like what is it, the how the integration work, and what is how it works with the tool. But then I realized that user might be interesting in knowing more. So then we started providing these hyperlinks. For example, if they are knowing more, if they want to know more about a particular section, then let us give hyperlinks. Then let us give these related articles, because for example, if I'm talking here about one topic, then as I said, user might be like, okay, this is helpful, but what if this occurs, or the next query can come to his mind. So then we
Mm-hmm.
started giving related links to the articles, and then we made sure that the proper like gif or the screenshots are given, so that the information
Mm-hmm.
is helpful to them.
Mm-hmm.
So these kind of small exercise we implemented.
Nice. Um, so thank you very much, Sunita, for answering these questions. So guys, anybody else? Uh, I believe everybody is, finding out ways to implement what you taught us today, already racking their brains to find ways to do this.
And yes, I would say actually questions comes when we try things. I hope that whoever is joined here will try to implement this, because obviously Google Analytics is a very free tool and helpful. It provides us statistics and data. So once they try to implement this, once they try to find the most viewed page of their websites, then the questions will come to their mind, and they will find answers also.
Right. I totally agree with you.
And just to add here to all of you who want to implement, so remember one point which I think Sunita and Shubhajit both mentioned, that there should be crawling. Okay.
Yes.
So for that crawling, it as an individual, you can't implement it on your company website. You need to work in the team, you need to have proper permissions for that. You
Yes,
need
yes.
to have either admin control, or else you need to have permissions from all those. Right, Anita?
Right, right, agree. So
Um,
actually, in our organizations also it was like that only. Initially, we did not have permission or access to this Google Analytics for our website because it provides data, so it can be misused also. So not everybody was allowed to see the information, but then we implemented this exercise and we realized that finding this might be helpful. So we requested this access, and then they added us in that admin account. So now we can access the information, and it really helps us, I'd say.
Yeah.
So just to add another thing is that what we did an kind of an activity is that we try to find out the pattern for last 1.5 years, so that we kind of come out of any biases which is not true. So we gone beyond the 6 months of data, we gone to almost like a 1.5 years of data, and
Right.
trying to find out the pattern of all those 10 topics. So maybe a topic A might be in number 2 in the first 6 months, might have gone down to number 5, but it is still there. So now we
mhm,
know that these are the 10 topics that we can focus, because as your help site is growing larger and larger, it's very difficult to for you to focus on each and everything, right? Then how do you prioritize? Okay, so we thought, no, this is one of the way of prioritizing our focus. And not only that, we have also informed the marketing team, sales teams, and the product management team that these are the capabilities that people are actually looking into it through our help site. Okay, so they also get some kind of an insight.
Right.
Yeah, that's a very important kind of an information for them.
Great. So I
Yes.
was just about to ask you this, Sunita and Subhajit. So did you share these findings with the product teams? Because this is like a treasure of insight, right? So
Yes, but in a summarized way, as Shubhaji said, we did this
mhm,
exercise because when we were finding these analytics, now we did this exercise in three phases. So first was we find the 10 these most viewed pages for the last 6 months, then last 6 months, and then 1 year back, like 1.5 year ka, we did this in three categories. Then
mhm,
first finding was like. We realized why this page was see, first of all, this page was on second number, but now it is coming to eighth number or fourth number. Why is this change? Whether it is because there is no update in that particular feature, or user has suddenly stopped reading about this particular article. Why? So these readings were also included, and like we if we realize, oh, okay, this is being continuously at number 10. So such kind of findings we shared with our product team.
great. Um,
I have one more question. This is Lakshmi. Now, you told me about all this Google Analytics being used for the existing support center, right? Now, for
Right.
example, we are coming up with another product, and for that product, I have to start a new, brand new support center. So,
Mhm.
how do I go about using information architecture to I mean, draw the way the website has to be, what is the structure that it has to follow, and what kind of articles I have to add into it, or what should be the navigation. How do I go about developing that strategy or design for the website?
Uh, I would say, see, information architecture is not a limited field. It's a detailed, I would say. So there are many things that it includes, but we have focused on one principle only. But as I said in my one of the slides, like. It's about classification and hierarchy, proper labels and taggings, navigation and wayfindings and such. So it's designing that entire website in such a way that home page is not loaded with the entire information. It is given proper categories of articles, then each category is leading to different articles, and then each articles are having hyperlink to the other articles and related articles, and then we are making sure that each page of the website is finding its way to the other pages also. So for example, if a user lands on particular page, like if I say this, then he should be able to understand where he is in this website in context of the entire website. So if for example, if user is coming on is this page, so he should know, okay, he is under the admin category, and then he can go back to this admin category, or he can go to the other guards category. So like the entire information, the entire content should be categorized and structured in a way that user can navigate through easily.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, hope this helps. Because see, information architecture is very detailed one. So as I said, it's like for each particular thing, like if I say classification and hierarchy, labels and tagging, navigation, each requires a lot of reading and knowledge, so that we can go about it. And as long as we talk about implementing like your as you said, your organization is coming up with a new product, and you are designing the support center for it. So as long as we talk about using Google Analytics, there is a way, like as I said, once you know that which section it is, or which what is the URL of your knowledge base, then you can once you log in with the sign up with this Google account, you can come to the admin settings, and then here in the property settings you can define what is the URL of your this knowledge base site, and then accordingly it will fetch information, the number of users, number of views, location, geographical location, and then you can see that information in the behaviors category.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Anyone?
And just one thing, like what Lakshmi asked. So Google Analytics, as Shankar was explaining, it's one of the best ways to find the user behavior. That is the whatever content you have, how your user is reacting, how your user is consuming, where you need to improve. It will teach you all that. It's a big learning. It actually Analytics reading that, it's a big learning. And Subhajit and team has done a great job in learning that. So yeah, you will have to spend some time. But as far as the website part you are talking about, you will have to think from the content strategy part.
Right,
That
true.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Is there something like a place where I could begin for designing the website? I mean, starting from the content development. Like, I mean, there is no content yet, so I have to come up with a design for the website itself. Like, what topics I need to be including, what kind of hierarchy I need to follow with all the. So it is more about being working as an information architect rather than entering the content.
exactly,
So
exactly. I
yeah,
think that
Right.
that would be the way. Probably somebody in the room here can throw some highlight if they have tried. Yes. In short, that is the thing you need to do.
right.
Just one thing I would like to add for you, Lakshmi. As you said, you are going to design it from sketch. So actually, we also have new products coming up. So we will start working on them. So we have just started our discussion. So like I can add a few points to your question. Like when you are saying you want to design it from information architecture point of view, so I would suggest you, like as information architecture focuses on to create a proper site map, like it's give me a second. Give me a second so that I can show you something that I did as a study.
Yeah.
So I would say it should be like when you are talking about designing the whole website, information architecture says to prepare a sitemap for it. Like what is your content? For example, it's if it's a help of a product, then what should be the main categories? Like if I say for my product, there can be three main categories like help articles, videos, and then other content. Then what should be the further categories? So defining content in a layer by layer category would help people. And then once you prepare your sitemap, then you can design your help pages in that manner. And then as I said, you can add links from one page to another page so that the navigation becomes easy and smooth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this helps. Is there a tool you're using for this, or the regular IO draw or something that should be enough?
Actually, for planning, there are a couple of tools. Like we use storyboarding tools. That is a part of our product only. But there
Okay.
are other tools also. Like Miro is one of them that I'm aware of. These
Okay.
provide us with a board kind of structures where we can prepare. Like first layer is the higher category, then the second layer is the second level category. So these
Okay.
provide us a board kind of structure where we can prepare chip or stick cards, we can say, and then
Okay.
plan our work in that way.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, hope this helps.
Sure. Sure, Sunita. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I think we have covered Sunita's content. We covered a lot of good questions. So any more questions? If no, then I think we are done. It was a great session, Sunita. This has you know um, made all of us, I think, put on our thinking hats, and I'm pretty sure this new year will have many people, many of us, with a new pet project for our documentation sites.
Certainly.
Yes, yes, we already have. So we are on track.
Uh,
Awesome. Lovely session. I mean, very knowledgeable session, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
certainly helps.
So this
Thank you so
session
much.
has been recorded and will be shared with all the registered participants, and